Hi guys, welcome to our channel where we discuss all the news and latest events related to electric vehicles in India. So today I'll be sharing basic key points about Delhi electric vehicle policy. If you remember, in part 1 I had already discussed about key incentives for 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers and 2-wheelers for electric vehicles in Delhi. Today I'll be specifically talking about charging stations and the policy points revolving around charging stations. So we'll be just beginning in some time. Before that, please subscribe to our channel so that you can remain updated about all the latest news and events in electric vehicle ecosystem. So let's begin. So let me just share my screen. And all right, so just gist about the previous video that Delhi government recently came out with its electric vehicle policy around around 1 month back, and it's kind of revolutionary policy for India. And by this policy, the Delhi government has clearly stated that it wants to become the electric vehicle capital of India. So that's a good news, and some of the items are really good. If you if you really read through it, and if you see my last video about electric vehicle policy of Delhi, the incentive that is given for 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers is extremely good. I mean, they have offered 1,50,000 rupees incentive for 4-wheelers, and they have offered around 30,000 incentive for 3-wheelers and 2-wheelers. So that's a very good incentive, and I think that this will act as a trigger for the end customer to buy electric vehicles. Now, coming to the charging infrastructure part, I mean, okay, you have really incentivized the end user. You have incentivized the 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers purchasers, but what about the infrastructure? What incentives has Delhi government brought about to promote people to buy charging infrastructure? So that's what I'll be discussing with you, and there are some really interesting points. So starting from some basic key points which I found really important in the policy is that electric vehicles primarily will be used in home and workplaces, and for the core charging needs. That's what the draft of the policy has actually admitted, and it is true. I mean, if you really look towards the data in UK or USA or China, primary amount of charging happens either at home or at workplace. The destination charging, which means you're charging temporarily at a destination or while you're traveling, it just constitutes 5 to 10% of the total charging. So that is something which Delhi government has admitted it through their document. Now, what they want to say is that now this is important, that the charging station that people use at their home and domestically and on their workplace should be integrated with the local discom. It should be in integration and in harmony with the local discom, so that it can be used for load balancing. I mean, electric vehicle charging station can range from 15 kilowatt, 22 kilowatt AC charger or a 50 kilowatt DC charger. You cannot just install such a heavy electrical equipment at your place. I mean, you need obviously to involve local discom so that they can tell you whether your local transformer can take that amount of load or not. So that is why discom will be involved, not just in Delhi but most probably everywhere wherever user wants to get a charging station installed. Changes in building bylaws shall be made to make all new home and workplace parking EV ready with 20% all vehicle holding capacity. Now this again is a very good move which will definitely lead to a spur, or let's say a trigger in growth of charging station, which means, let's say, if any builder is building any society, let's say any gated society is being built or any building is being built, and so 20% of the parking space should have EV charging capability. So if you have 100 parking spots, at least 20 parking spots should have EV charging capability, which means this is for all the new houses and workplace. Now this is a really cool piece of draft, which means definitely I think this is will do what is being done in solar, that the builders and the new houses in many places like Chandigarh, the new houses are actually mandated to have a solar on their roof, and similarly a draft related to this for EV. Coming to the next point, that is GNCTD, Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi, shall provide a grant of 100% for purchase of charging equipment up to rupees 6,000 per charging point for the first 30,000 charging stations. That's right, which means that if you buy a charging station of 5,000 rupees, that's a different thing, that you will not get a charging station for 5,000 rupees, but let's just assume you will get it for free because the amount of subsidy that you wanna get is up to rupees 6,000. But if you buy a charging station of, let's say, 10,000, you'll get a subsidy of 6,000, and let's say call the incentive of 6,000, and you will end up paying only 4,000. This is for first 30,000 charging station. It's a pretty big number. Now the question arises is, where do you buy these charging points? Do you buy it like anywhere, or is it through your Discom's website? That is something I think is important. Let's just go through the remaining points. I think when we go through the other points, we will get an answer that where do you buy this charging station, which and which company. So let's just go on. Grant shall be available for chargers that are either single phase or three phase but comply with all other BEVC AC 001 specifications. So what is BEVC AC 001 specification? I'll cover it in another video, but again doesn't answer the last question, which companies and where to buy. Customers of all Discoms operating in Delhi shall provide the facility to purchase a private charging point online at a price net of GNCTD grant, which means it's like a front incentive. You don't get a cash back in your bank account, you get it up front. And request for charge installation at the premises. The Discom shall install chargers at their customers' premises as requested and recover additional installation related charges, and etc. So all the Discoms operating in Delhi, which currently are 3, will provide their customers an EV installation service through their website, and the price at which it will be offered to the customers will be net of the incentive. Like incentive will be cut out, and the remaining amount they have to pay, and plus the installation charges that you will have to pay to the Discom guys. So that's, I think, pretty much answers. So but which company, I think this is something very open to interpretation. If any of you viewers have a better idea, let me know in the comment section. But what I feel is that this will be like a licensing kind of stuff, where a bunch of equipment manufacturers will list themselves on the Discom, and probably customer can buy from there, or maybe via tendering the company will be selected. So I guess it will be one of these cases where you can buy through the Discom's website. Moving on, energy operators shall be invited to set up charging and battery swapping station across Delhi in multiple phases by porting and giving concessional locations. Energy operators. So first of all, what is energy operator? So from my understanding of reading of the draft, any public charging station or the people who will be building this public charging station are being referred to as energy operators, and obviously the land will be given by government to them. And actually even the government has started looking out for lands where they can install these public charging station, which will be installed and run by energy operators. So, and there will be a bare minimum lease rentals with these energy operators. Now coming to the tariff, the important part. Electricity tariff applicable for all public and captive charging station for commercial use shall be as notified in the DERC tariff schedule for 2019-20. So guys, the electricity bills or the tariff is decided by Electricity Regulatory Commission in all the states. Similarly in Delhi, and the electricity tariff for this particular usage will be decided by Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission tariff 2019-20. So I think that's much. Let's just wait for DERC tariff order to find out. The question is that this tariff, will it be applicable to public, or it will also be applicable to private charging stations or not? So the question is whether private charging station will actually be paying this tariff or not. So it actually kind of answers this question, that this tariff will be extended to all private charging points that are BEVCAC 001 compliant and are connected to central management system of the relevant DISCOM. So now it kind of confuses me, and at least that if you have a private charging point, then using it for yourself, or let's say you have, let's say you have a shop, you install a charging station outside it and you give it to your customers. It's not a public charging point, you're just giving it to your customers. So let's just call it a semi-public charging point. So and you connecting it with your meter. So I think so if you're connecting it with your meter, then it's not easy to identify what amount of charging that what amount of current that charging station is taking. But definitely if you want to pay the tariff which is being determined by the regulatory commission, then you will have to install a separate meter for that to know how much current is paid. This is part which we will have to look into, that how will you calculate how much current that particular device in your establishment, that particular device has consumed. You can definitely do it like by a remote monitoring sensor or something like that, but how does the DISCOM determines that? Payment infrastructure and information. The energy operator shall be expected to accept payment through multiple modes such as cash, cards, mobile wallets, and UPI. This is the standard mode of payment across Western countries for their charging stations. Vocational courses shall be designed to train EV drivers, mechanics, and charging stations. Now, this is very important, guys, that if we are really looking into EV ecosystem, apart from just giving incentives to two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and apart from just giving incentives to charging equipment buyers and installers, we also need to give and we also need to create the workforce, the manpower who will be able to contribute and service these equipments. And that's why the vocational courses, the diplomas, come into picture. And the courses shall be delivered through world-class skill service centers which are set up by Government of Delhi, and the space and faculty for this shall be provided at concessional rates. And not just for Delhi, I believe this should be done for other states as well, because how do you train? Like, mostly people are trained in standard electrical equipments via diploma or BTech, but then you need to train manpower especially for charging equipments for electric vehicles. So that is something that I believe there is a gap there in terms of skills, and somebody needs to fill that gap, not just the government but definitely private players as well. So this was today's videos, guys, about Delhi's EV policy, and I hope you liked the video. And do let me know if you have any questions about the policy, or do you let me know if you think there is an important point which I missed or maybe misinterpreted. So I will be more than happy to correct it. And do subscribe to my channel. I will be regularly sharing all the news, updates, tenders, everything about electric vehicles in India. So just definitely subscribe to my channel, like the video in case you liked it, and click the bell icon for notifications. So see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.